Avast behind there, this is Steve the Rev Hawkins, welcoming you to another wonderful podcast of Ship Shape and Bristol Fashion.
Ship shape and Bristol fashion, boys, along the harbour side. From Avon Gorge to Underfall, we'll heave and haul the line. Secure the barrels down below, bind them, tie and lash 'em. This vessel, she is certified ship shape and Bristol fashion.
Ahoy there, and welcome to episode 28 of Shipshape and Bristol Fashion. I'm Oggy, your host, and a member of the Port of Bristol Shanty crew. This podcast is designed to talk about what we get up to as a shanty crew, but also to lift the lid on the shanty world. And so if there's anything we think that's interesting for you, we're going to put it in the show. And that is definitely going to be happening on this episode. We've got our usual segment of The Signaller, where you can catch up with what we've been up to and where you can catch us in the next couple of months. But this month we welcome Dean Calin, who is a member of that well-known shanty crew from America, Bounding Maine, but he is coming onto the show to talk about his project that he has been invested in for a very long time. And it's called the Maritime Music Directory International, and he is coming to talk to you about that project. So let's pop down to the Signaller, who this month is being voiced by Chili, because our wonderful Ash is taking a month off.
Ahoy shipmates, it's Chili, and I'm stepping in for Ash, who's having a bit of R&R, a bit of time off on shore. So big shoes to fill. I have tried it before. Let's see how we get on with it. So what have we been up to? Has spring sprung? That's a nice way to put it. The sun's out most of the time. And hopefully it'll be a nice summer. So let's tell you where we've been and what we've been up to. So what have we done in April? 23rd of April, we were at St. Monica's Retirement Village at Sanford Station. And it is gorgeous. I've got to say, it is a gorgeous place to do. And it was a lovely crowd and they made us very, very welcome. So we'd love to do them again. On the 25th of April, not 2 days later, we were with the Thornbury Action Art. And we did a gig for them. I put the ship in at Ulverston. Again, wonderful venue, really friendly. And they were just the most supportive, appreciative crowd we've seen so far this year, I think, to be honest. It was good fun. So what have we got coming up in May? Well, Saturday the 2nd of May, we've got the Nev Community Hub, which is on Neville Road in Bishopston. And that's starting at 2 o'clock. So we'll be there, giving our best efforts so that you can enjoy a little bit of shanty and a bit of fun and frolics. So feel free to come along. That leads us on to Saturday and Sunday. This is one we organise. This is the 9th and 10th of May, and it's the Real Ale and Shanty Festival, which is at Park Street in Bristol. Now, we've got 16 various crews from all over the southwest coming along, and we've got royalty. Yes, I know we've got Nobby, but we've got Tom Lewis himself, who's coming all the way over from Ireland. I'm not sure what we've offered him, if it was bribes, a bottle of rum, or if we've press ganged him, but he's coming over. And if you've ever heard Tom Lewis, you know you're going to be in for a spectacular treat. So please come down and join in and sort of come along and see what we've got to do. Tickets are still available. If you go for the Relay and Shanty Festival on Tintynet, then you can still buy tickets. So they are going quickly because obviously it's going to be a good one. So feel free to get yourselves there. 16th of May, we're going up to Madison's. And Madison's is on the Westerly Road. And it's a lovely, lovely cafe, a hidden gem without a shadow of a doubt. We're going to be there from 7 p.m. And all the proceeds from that, as most of our stuff does, goes straight to the Teenage Cancer Trust. We're currently on £53,700, so we would love to break 60,000 by the end of the summer. So feel free to come along. It's going to be a good one, that one. They've got a bar, outside bar, they've got barbecue, they've got everything. So fingers crossed for the weather, and we'll all be there giving our best. 24th, Sunday the 24th from 7 p.m. If you can't make the other ones, Snuffy Jack's on Fish Ponds Road. It is a wonderful little venue, and it's one of those microbreweries, and they serve some amazing drinks. I can't tell you now, there's some amazing beers. Some of them really strong, so not for the faint-hearted, but they've got something for everyone. They got a pub garden as well, when we've sang out there before. They are great supporters of us, and we love singing there. Which leads us on to the last one for May, which would be the Sunday the 31st. We are at Newport for the Newport Shanty Festival. We get the train over because it's easier, but it means you can do those drinking things on the way back. But that is a nice venue. They've got it in the new part of Newport, which is really posh. Posh in Newport. Yeah, you can say the two together. So that really does sort of is worth a little visit if you want to. There'll be lots of Welsh choirs and Welsh crews and things there, along with all us lot who get dragged along. So make a point of getting up there. What else we got in the near future? June. June is not one to miss. We've been invited to the Falmouth International Shanty Festival again, and we've got everything crossed out. We managed to get on that main stage. If we don't, we don't. But if you've ever been to a shanty festival, international, that's the one to go to. It's brilliant fun. And they do pasties and cider and beer and everything. It's wonderful. And then in July, oh yes, you've heard it here, we are opening the Bristol Harbour Festival at the amphitheatre, the Lloyd's Amphitheatre. And that will be a special thing for all of us, I think, just to open that, because obviously the association with Bristol and the harbour and the boats. So that's us signing off for the moment. If you want to find out more, join us on the Facebook, because if you put one of those things on it, a request, and we can get you on there and you can see what we're up to, which is a good way to keep in touch. But have a lovely spring, and let's look forward to the summer. Have a good one.
Thank you, Chili, and I just can't wait to get involved in all of the different shanty festivals and gigs that we're involved in. Let's pop down to the crew's quarters and listen to Dean Calin, who will give us a bit of his history and tell us all of what this Maritime Music Directory International is all about. So, as I've introduced this wonderful man, Dean Calin, welcome to Shipshape and Bristol Fashion.
Thank you for having me on. I'm eager to discuss our genre with everyone.
It's so great to have you on board. Dean, for listeners who might not know you and who you are, do you mind just introducing yourself to the listeners, and how did you first get involved in the world of maritime music?
Well, I went to public school or private school in Chicago back in the day, and our music classes introduced us to contemporary songs and traditional songs, and curiously, two of them stood out to me. One, and it was a Catholic school, so nuns teaching you Drunken Sailor was very paradoxical. But also, come all ye young fellows and follow the sea to me way. Hey, blow the man down, blow the man down. So it was a sea shanty.
Yeah,
it was a sea shanty in music history class. So I've always had that sitting in the back of my mind. In freshman year of high school, some friends of mine and I, lacking a Star Trek fan club that we could join, we decided that we would start our own. And at 14 years of age, I created what became the world's largest independent Star Trek fan club. Now, as you might know, the show's creator was inspired by Horatio Hornblower. So that mentality, that type of thought process has been in my mind for a very long time. Now, of course, the sailors of the military did not do shanties, but that environment has always been in my head. When I was a young man, I was cast in a show portraying an Elizabethan sea dog. Okay. And in that cast, we learned sea shanties. As anachronistic as it was something that our environmental theater audience could latch onto. So at that time, I learned a bunch of sea shanties. Our assistant music director was a big fan of Tom Lewis and Johnny Collins, and he introduced sea shanties not only to our individual ensemble cast, but also to the cast as a whole. Now, the show that we were working had always been struggling with a Renaissance themed kind of music because real Renaissance music bores the living daylights out of most people. And lacking an alternative to that, a lot of the independent musicians that they hired were doing Celtic music or some folk music, but you can only sing Puff the Magic Dragon so many times before people realize that what you're singing is not quite period. So that fellow, by introducing Tom Lewis and Johnny Collins to our show, that spread throughout the whole United States at this type of event. So we were forerunners for bringing sea shanties to the general public in America.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting time. So 23 years ago, I was asked to put a group together for another show that had been assembled like this. And I did, and the show went on. And afterwards, we had a really good time. The crew that I put together were all environmental theater veterans. And I said, I really enjoyed this. Would you like to continue this beyond this show? And everyone was very enthusiastic. And we picked names out of a hat, and we put Bounding Maine together. And for 23 years, we've been doing a unique style of maritime music. We all come from theatrical backgrounds, so our particular take on it is richly harmonic. And the reason that we do that is not only because of our background, but we've discovered that while there is a need and a demand for true historical shanties, the way they were sung, not everyone in the modern audience appreciates leaping and bellowing. And what we do is a little more at home for them. People enjoy the harmonies that we do. And despite the fact that we have a completely improvised show with a great deal of humor, we're very serious about our music, and we take it very seriously. So when we're performing, we reach a lot of people, and it has been so heartwarming to know that we have fans now who were literally born listening to our music.
Wow.
Because their parents were fans.
Yeah, of course.
And you know, how can you ask for anything more fulfilling than that?
Wow, that's such a great story and a great introduction to how you got involved in the maritime music. So where is home for you, Dean?
I am at a little town called Racine in Wisconsin on Lake Michigan.
Nice.
In the United States.
What is it about that genre, that music that really keeps you so passionate about it?
Maritime music is an interesting subculture of folk music in general. One of the deciding things about who to include in the Maritime Music Directory, which we'll talk about also, is how much maritime are they? The cutoff is generally 51%. 51% maritime, they get thrown into the directory. And of course, there are exceptions because artists like Alayla Diane, who did Pirates Gospel, that was a big thing, and everyone was covering that song, so she got put into the directory. And even Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, is in the author of that song and his band are in the directory because for 50 years now, I hate to admit that, that song, it was a maritime theme song and it touches people, very heartfelt, and it's right in our genre, despite the fact that the group is essentially soft rock.
Yeah, of course, of course. Well, yeah, exactly, and it does capture you, doesn't it? The maritime music, there's an element of escapism, and it's so rich with history, and it's quite a privilege to be part of a group of people that steward that style of music, which is fantastic. I mean, clearly, you've got many years of experience in this world, singing and also being the custodian of the Maritime Music Directory International. But have you got any standout moments in your time that really sit there, and performances that have really stayed with you over the time that you've been part of this maritime music world?
Oh, absolutely. I think when we got together early on at a rehearsal, I was discussing with everyone uh, our future plans as I saw them, and I knew that we would have a certain amount of regular shows, and they thought that I was overestimating. And I said, and then we will be doing festivals in Europe, and everyone was like, go on, because that seemed like a very, very big thing. But having done my research, I knew that all of the key festivals were in Europe. Uh, there were a few festivals in America, but the ones that I really wanted us to get to were in Falmouth, in Bremen, in Eppington. So uh, this is what I knew that we were going to get to. So when we did in 2008 finally get to Festival Maritime, I looked around. uh, I looked around and saw the thousands of people in the audience, and I said, "We did it! It was so good." And then further to that, in I think it was 2017, sorry, 2019, we were in Pample, uh, and uh, we were on one of the stages, and we happened to take a photo out at the audience, but the audience was shoulder to shoulder, and uh, the depth of appreciation that that French audience had for what we were doing, not just maritime music, but our maritime music, bringing them in, standing room only. Uh, it made me very proud. It made me very happy that we could do that, that we could reach an international audience with a project that was so important to us. Um, and so every now and again, that picture crosses my screen. I'm like, ta-da! Very happy.
Such a sense of achievement, and you clearly had a vision to allow that to happen, and it did. And wow, it's so good, and I can see how that makes you feel so positive about that world. But what I really would like to talk to you about, which is a resource that I certainly have been using, and it's been really helped me with this podcast, is this wonderful resource called the Maritime Music Directory International. And so for those that are hearing about it for the first time by listening to you on this podcast, what is it?
When the pandemic gave focus to some absolute outsiders to the genre, the general public assumed that certain individuals were experts in our field, and it made me very sad that we, as a collective group of entertainers, had not collectively promoted ourselves so that the general public would know who we were.
Mm.
And why is that? Well, because it takes a lot of work. it takes a lot of work to be able to look outside of your own project, your own group, your own doorway. And my day job background, I've been a sales and marketing in the commercial aerospace industry. So I have a lot of experience both with travel and communications and networking and publishing. So I knew that there was a way that we could make all of this information available to the press and to fans, because it did not satisfy me that strangers were getting book deals and lots of money, where legacy groups and contemporary groups whose careers were dedicated to maritime music were virtually unknown. I felt it was a completely inequitable situation. So
I can see how that is a huge motivator to create this repository of incredible acts, artists, entertainers, like you said.
well, the struggle is, as we say, there are only so many ways to communicate with the general public. And I discovered that the trove of information that we've assembled gets us on the first page of a lot of Google searches, so that when people are looking up a shanty or a group or a festival, our reference is one of the first ones. And I think that's so very important, because once you get into the site, within each of the listings, whether it's for a musical act or a venue or event or an individual performer, there are links within the site to be able to reach in between. Like Port of Bristol Shanty Crew will perform at Falmouth. And then once you're in Falmouth, you can see, oh, here are the other groups that have performed there. Let's click on that name, and then you get over to that group. So it keeps you within the genre, and the average viewer who may not be aware of this as a culture can see that it's all linked together. There's hundreds of groups. It's literally over 1,000 groups, and at least 400 venues and events that are involved in what we do. And I think that even within our community, for any one of our bands to see that there is this volume, I don't think anyone really recognizes that we're substantial. What we're doing is a very important and recognizable thing.
So, whilst building the platform, I mean, what kind of acts and artists feature on there, and how do you and maybe a team of people get to decide on who is included on that website and in the directory?
Well, I should say that I've got a great deal of help from my friend Tony Goodenough. Tony, some people may remember, is the author of the song Pump Shanty, from when he was working in London with the Shanty Crew many years ago. I also have the assistance of Gunnar Vegan from Germany, folk singer Gunnar Vegan, Janice from Flossie. You may recognize her from Australia. And so I've got a number of people across the globe who are identifying groups and events that should be added. And sometimes they will add the listing themselves. There are some specific graphic requirements, so I end up doing pretty much all of those. And I do a lot of the listings, but generally it's become a project of long in the tooth performers of the genre that feel the same way that I do. It's like what we're doing is important and it needs to be recognized.
Yeah, I can imagine, and it's not. Yeah, I can absolutely see it's a huge amount of work. And listeners, if in the show notes will be the website, and we will want you to go and look because it is an incredible resource. Have you, whilst building this, and clearly it's a labor of love because it isn't just a one. You don't just complete it and it's done. You clearly have to invest in it with the help that, as you've mentioned. But have you come across any kind of surprising discoveries and artists and groups that maybe you didn't expect originally?
I was thrilled to see the large increase of activity in Australia and New Zealand.
Okay.
Uh, um, for the longest time, I think the shanty crew, I'm going to have to check that resource again sometime. Um, and I can do that live on the site.
That's how good the website is. You can just literally delve straight in.
That's right, because I can go to countries of musical acts, and uh, there we are. We have Australia as the very first one, and there's a fellow named Barry Skipsey who wrote a song called Ocean Liner, which is a maritime themed song that was popularized by the Rocky River Bush Band. That was picked up by a Dutch group called De Buccaneers at the Chicago Maritime Festival. De Buccaneers sang that song, and Bounding Main was performing at that show also, so we decided that we would lift that from them. So a song from Barry Skipsey in Australia made its way through to Chicago, through to the Netherlands, to Chicago, and out to the public again through us. So it's amazing how interconnected all of this is.
Yeah, certainly is. It's phenomenal, isn't it? And I guess, you've referenced the fact that COVID was a time where, there were particular artists that were doing very well. And, thankfully, we've now got this resource that people can discover how international maritime music is. How would you kind of compare the modern revival with the kind of traditional roots that we know all so well?
I think what's exciting is that there are definitely brand new eyes coming into the genre. There is a Reddit subreddit, I think they call it, for sea shanties. And every day you see people who discover sea shanties. And of course, what they're discovering largely is maritime music. But even when we got started 23 years ago, a lot of people were calling everything by Stan Rogers a sea shanty, which of course he didn't write any sea shanties. Everything that he wrote was maritime music. Sea shanties is a shortcut term, if you will. It's used incorrectly, but it's a quicker way of saying maritime music than maritime music. So that'll be the placeholder.
Yeah, and maybe there's a call of action there for everyone to be really clear that there is a slight difference, and maybe we should be using the maritime music as a phraseology more, I guess.
And the interesting thing is, since I started this in 2023, I have noticed that more posts on Facebook are being attentive to the use of the word maritime music, which I love because like a mechanic working on a car engine, if you say to your young assistant, hand me a Phillips screwdriver, and then he hands you a hammer. I said, what is this? He said, well, it's a Phillips screwdriver. I said, no, that's a hammer. Well, I call it a Phillips screwdriver. Yeah. It's like, no,
it's not that at all.
That's not how this works.
And I guess, you know, we are in a great place within the Port of Bristol Shanty crew because we clearly have an incredible amount of people that follow us. But we're not alone there. You know, we speak to our local shanty crews and maritime music crews, and there is a following. And with your own reflection, because you get to see it on an international community, but why do you think that this music genre is really resonating with people again?
I think that along with other trends, uh, we're enjoying the fact that what we do and have been doing involves people working positively together. And I think that with so much political and social challenges today, I think that the world in general is looking for something happy and positive that they can contribute to.
Yes.
And if they can go out and have a pint and sing a song that they may not understand, they're doing something that makes them smile and laugh. And my God, is there anything more important than that?
No,
I love it.
not at
I
all.
love it.
Laughing, pints, and music. It's great. It's a great combination, and it really resonates with positive mental well-being, isn't it? Which is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really good. I guess one of your challenges is that, and maybe I'm generalizing here, is that maybe some of the groups that are centralistic around maritime music and shanty struggle with the digital world. I mean, you know, even a podcast like this doesn't always resonate with everyone. I guess that's been a little bit of a challenge, but ultimately, I think from COVID, it might have got better. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that there are a lot of great musical artists whose uh, careers have come and gone, but the legacy of their music remains. But lacking technical expertise, there are uh, certainly very important albums that are no longer available for any of us to listen to. And one of my goals for down the road is to be able to identify lost albums,
Okay.
whether in the form of a cassette or vinyl, get my hands on it and digitize it. What I want to be able to do is to create a label, if you will, for the Maritime Music Directory so that we can re-release these lost albums on Bandcamp and set up a cash flow for both the original artists who lack the technical expertise to do this, and also to help support the Maritime Music Directory doing a profits share.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a fantastic idea to bring stuff that have been long forgotten. And physical media is so alien to lots of people these days. To bring that and to make it digitalized, that sounds really exciting.
Yeah, I'm struggling with the technical part of it right now for some reason. I can't get my output device to talk to my computer, but I'll fix it. Certainly.
Perseverance. Oh, lovely. I mean, as a community that are listening in the world of maritime music, is there stuff that we could do to better support you and the small but perfectly formed team that support you in making this incredible directory?
Well, one of the things that I'm very excited by the idea of, and I heard from individuals in Australia and Canada about this, and I think no one has really considered it because we haven't taken ourselves seriously enough as an individual genre. But having an annual awards show where we can recognize top groups, top songs, or even top events. I think it's important that we know that we don't have a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We don't have a Country Music Awards, but we can.
Yeah.
We can certainly do that because we can recognize the fact that there's no reason why we cannot, as a 1,000-strong musical act genre,
Yeah.
do an annual awards ceremony, because that becomes a press event, and press events reach the public.
Yes, they do.
There is nothing as important to success as the appearance of success.
Yeah. You could have that on a t-shirt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've always felt that way. And I think that if we can get organized on this, uh, it will greatly benefit every single one of us.
Yeah.
You're listening to Shipshape and Bristol Fashion, sponsored by the Nova Scotia Pub. Come down and see us on Bristol's historic harbourside.
No, you are right. You are right. It's a huge, huge community, and I've only got a small perspective of it. You get to see the big picture. No, that sounds like an exciting thing, so I guess my next question to you is, what next for the Maritime Music Directory? Clearly, one of them is to digitalize music, and maybe be part of the conversation around having a truly international award ceremony. Have you got any other projects or features that you're excited to tell our listeners today about this?
It's not as exciting as I would like. However, we shifted from an HTML-based website several years ago to a WordPress-based website. And unfortunately, we have not been well served in terms of the technology.
Okay.
And it's gotten to the point that we're going to have to rebuild the site entirely.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's kind of dreadful, but because of the template that we're using and some of the technicians that we've had working on the site, it's becoming more and more unavoidable as time goes on. I got an estimate from a local development house that is offering a considerable discount because we are a not-for-profit organization, but we're still looking at about $4,500 to rebuild the site. And unfortunately, we have to do it. It's not really something that's going to be optional. And unfortunately, what I need to do now is to start grant writing, which had been in my plans from the very beginning. But unfortunately, last year I developed cancer.
Okay.
And a cardiac issue, which kind of took me off the workforce for a little while.
Yeah, I guess.
And so I've got a member of my board which is experienced with grant writing, and we hope to be able to get that going before the site actually breaks.
Yeah. Yeah. Time is of the essence. I get that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Dean, I'm glad that, are you feeling better now? Is life a little better on the health side?
I have been in continuous medical supervision. I've been doing chemo, I've been doing radiation therapy, physical therapy, and I'm feeling considerably better. I started doing Bounding Main shows again this year, so I'm delighted to be back at it. I'm certainly not 100% yet, but I'm up and about and taking care of myself. So my feelings and expectations are quite high.
Good. Well, I think we're all very thankful, and it's great that you are moving in that direction. So the platform itself, is there any hidden gems within the directory that you really would like us to go and visit and explore further?
Absolutely. I think the some of the little tools that we've added to the site have made its utility very, very powerful. I think that people should be aware that we have a way to sort by categories, so that if you're in, say, musical acts, off on the right-hand side, you can sort specifically for solo musicians or a cappella groups or bands with instruments and vocals. And the beauty of that is, I think of the casual fan that happens to be in Falmouth for the Falmouth Festival. And if they don't remember what the name of the festival is, but they remember that group that they really liked, they can say, well, they were four gentlemen on banjos and guitars. So they can go to this category sort and look at bands with instruments and vocals, and suddenly they're looking at everyone who's specifically like what they're looking for. So even if they don't find the original group that they're looking for, they'll find a group that they like.
That's fantastic.
Which is fun.
That's so good, isn't it? Because it's so easy to get so focused on one band, but actually being introduced to others that are kind of would resonate with the visitor to your site, that is such a powerful tool.
We've worked very hard on making this something that everybody can use. The other two things are, as often as the calendar permits, we add a maritime note, which is typically age of sail related, because that's the time that shanties were developed. Obviously, maritime events and maritime individuals are all very important, but we try to focus an interesting thing on the maritime notes, and that's something found on the homepage. And lastly, I get emails from people asking about how they can buy CDs. And what we've done is that we've created a fourth category that pulls links from the individual listings. Of course, musical acts have albums, but some festivals also have albums.
Yeah.
And if you go to the homepage on the site and you click on the recordings link, you'll come to a page that gives you a complete list of every place that you can go to reach the recordings of that are available in our genre.
Yeah.
You can search by, let's say, longest Johns, and I use them because they're very prolific, and there's a lot that people will see, and they've done a marvelous job as well with marketing themselves.
Yes.
And I think the important thing that I hope the musical acts recognize is the fact that we do not sell their music. We don't want to get between them and the fans. What we do is we link to their links to their site, where fans and the press can find their music.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great gift to the artists, for people to discover them and then to go to their website to do that purchase, which is, yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, and of course, our anticipation is that the more fans and the more musical acts and festivals who see what we're doing to promote the group, to promote the music, that they will recognize that and go to our donation link and drop us a few coins every now and again to help us sustain what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's probably very important, listener, that, you know, we're not here asking you to part with thousands and thousands of pounds to enable this new rebuild. But like you said, it's a non-for-profit. There is a donate space, isn't there, on your website for people to donate whatever currency they have and whatever money they have to help you. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I mean, what you do is phenomenal, and a big thank you from the Port of Bristol Shanty crew for doing everything that you've done so far. If people have listened to this interview and they want to find out where this directory is and how they can get involved, let's signpost them to the right direction.
Absolutely. The link to the site is https sea shanties, plural, 4 all.com. Sea shanties for all.com.
It says it right there in that address, exactly what it is all about. Any final message for listeners that are aspiring to be maritime singers or acts? Any advice to give them? Because clearly you get to see them all. Any advice and words of wisdom?
As you said earlier, we are in a wonderful period today that we have such a active group of musical acts all over the globe. Typically English speaking. I would love to see more input from Mediterranean groups. And I think that as the years go by, there will be more focus on that. Yep. But as time goes on, I think that we will all see how fun this is for all of us and how important it is, this fellowship, this brotherhood, that we can go to a festival and we have a group from Germany and we have a group from England and France and Netherlands and Belgium and America, and doing all of this beautiful, wonderful, historic, contemporary, heartfelt music of love and dedication and hard work together. We are so blessed. We are so fortunate to be able to have this, and we're here now. And who knows what the world will have in 10 years. I hope it'll be even bigger.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. Well, Dean, thank you for your time and thank you for everything you do. I certainly confident this won't be the last time that we talk and having you on the show, because you are a font of knowledge when it comes to the international community of maritime music. I think, listener, please do go and spend some time. You could literally lose hours of your life by just going to that space and really absorbing what a wonderful community that we are in right now. And all of that hard work is clearly paying off. So well done.
Justin, thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, help me, Bob, I'm bully in the alley. Hey, bully in the alley. Help me, Bob, I'm bully in the alley. Bully down the chin bone now.
Now, Sally is the girl that I love dearly. Sally is a girl that I
Thank you, Dean. That was an incredible interview. And once again, if you have not managed to visit this website yet, I will include it in the show notes. And so your good podcasting app, or in fact, if you're listening to this online, you should find it in the notes section. There's a link there to the website. It's worth spending some time there just to find out some of the history and some of the details around individual singers and groups from around the world. It's an incredible resource, and I certainly use it quite regularly. So that's it for this month's episode of Shipshape and Bristol Fashion. If you haven't already done so, then please do pop over to Facebook, give us a search, Port of Bristol Shanty Crew, and you'll find our wonderful community. Now, join it, because it's a great way of keeping in touch with what we get up to instantly, and it's a great way of interacting with us. So, thank you for listening, and once again, fair winds and following seas. Take care.
Shipshape and Bristol fashion boys along the harbour side. From even gorge to underfall, we'll heave and haul the line. Secure the barrels down below, bind them, tie and lash 'em. This vessel, she is certified Shipshape and Bristol fashion. So haul away me laddie boys, haul away you're free. Haul away me laddie boys and save a drink for me. Haul away me laddie boys, haul away you're free. Haul away me laddie boys and save a drink for me.
There's a sound that echoes through Bristol harbours, the sound of voices raised together in song. And this May, that sound returns. So welcome to the Real Ale and Sea Shanty Festival at Freemasons Hall on Park Street on the 9th and 10th of May 2026. Join the legendary Port of Bristol Shanty crew, plus special guest Tom Lewis and shanty singers from all across the southwest, bringing powerful harmonies, maritime history and unforgettable atmosphere. Feel the music, share the stories and enjoy a superb selection of real ales and ciders in the heart of Bristol. Whether you're a lifelong shanty singer, a folk music lover or simply looking for a unique weekend experience, this festival welcomes all. The 9th and 10th of May 2026 at Freemasons Hall, Park Street in Bristol. You can book your tickets now at aleandshanty.co.uk. The Real Ale and Sea Shanty Festival, where Bristol sings and the sea comes alive.
Shanty for sailors.